So here we go.
Attackers incoming.
And if memory serves, you said you took a break, you'd come back. Roughly what level is this game play out?
Gold.
Okay.
Gold plat. Gold plat. Right.
Statistically speaking, I usually get most of my team back. Who's counting?
Five, four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Okay, so you could have done the same thing they did, and if they were going to do it, there's not a ton of reason for you not to. Like, yes, you sort of were hiding that you had a Zarya, but there's very little reason that you can't just sort of open with lob right clicks here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and potentially they'll shoot back. You get to get your barrier cooldown rolling earlier with some energy. Could be good. Yeah, exactly. We as Zarya are very good at making it sort of annoying for our opponents to advance with right click. So that's something that we, generally speaking, would like to do. A long time without a shot there. You don't really need that reload either. So like you're doing this. And you're out here, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go look over here for some reason. What are you looking
Because
for?
I heard their tracer blink.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so
You
looking for the
heard the
tracer.
tracer blink. Okay. There's still plenty up here to use this ammo on. Like you could use this 10 ammo you have on another right click back here, and that would be better than your reload. Like you're sort of like, well, there's no one on my screen, so I can reload, and that's not really true because turning doesn't really take time in Overwatch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Turn up.
Right, David, okay. Good.
This Ryan is playing really passive, so I'm holding my barrier for like a long time.
Yeah, he's playing a bit passive, it's true. You're not going to be able to stay too aggressive here.
No.
So, obviously this is a maneuver that Zaryas are familiar with. I'm going to step in front of my Rein and shield, and you're thinking, hey, maybe there's going to be some good damage here. But the other Reinhardt is sort of already backing up when you do this. So there's not really that big of an expectation, and sure enough, you only get 20 energy out of it. I'm going to step in front of my Rein to block damage to him with my bubble. It's okay, it's probably overused. Your barrier tends to get you more value when you go, I'm going to take an aggressive position at a different angle than my Rein, or I'm going to get more aggressive than my Rein. And rather than just be like, I'm going to block some damage specifically for my Rein because they're shooting at my Rein, that's something you sort of do either when your Rein is really, really critical and you're super worried about him, or when the opponents are further away. Like if the opponents were back, say, at spawn, and you were up here, you might go, well, they're not shooting at me, but they'll shoot at my Rein, so let me step in front of my Rein and bubble type thing. That can be a thing. If you're close, what you tend to get a lot more value out of is I'm going to off angle because if I step at a different angle, I do a lot more damage, I'm more threatening, I can get around barriers, etc. And me having my bubble available, not using my bubble, but having my bubble available is what allows me to get aggressive like this. If I use my bubble just stepping in front of my Rein, that's not as good aggression. Just, hey, I'm going forward as my Rein is coming back. Are you really likely to get eliminations out of that?
No.
Whereas if you're over here, you might not get the elimination either, but you're kind of more likely because he can go around shields like that, and
Yeah.
It's the elimination threat that makes these guys antsy, that makes these guys shoot at you, which is what gets you more energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'd be a little careful about the sort of do-si-do maneuver, as I like to call it, where you step in front to sort of shield for your Rein with your bubble. It's got a place, it's just not that big a place. So you don't actually have to back off here. Like you can. Your Rein's backing off, and I don't mind if you back off because your Rein's backing off. But at this point, you have your bubble, and your Rein's going back in. So I want to play aggressive over here again. I want to go like this and be like, yeah, I'm over here, and I can do this. I can freelance a little because I have my bubble. That's a lot of reloading.
Well, partly because I heard the Tracer again.
Right, but again,
Yeah.
turning away isn't really a reason to reload if there's still enemies that could be on your screen. Like, you don't have to move for those enemies to be on your screen. You just have to turn. If you were, like, behind cover and it's going to take you time to get back from out of cover, sure, maybe that's a good excuse to reload. But if you're just like, I've turned to look for this Tracer, I've turned to look for this Tracer, and there's enemies right here, there not being a Tracer here isn't a good reason to reload because there's no limit to your turn speed. Like, you can turn as fast as you want here. So, like... that's not a good reason to reload there because you could be dumping that ammo as right or left click damage into actual opponents. You can sort of think of these right clicks or these reloads as costing you roughly 2 right clicks, just in terms of the time that you're giving up.
Okay.
So, I wouldn't worry about the Tracer too much. I think you're over-investing in this. Like, you look at this, and okay, there's a Tracer, and Tracer is super annoying, but let's look at your team. Your team has an Ana and a Bap. They've lost their Junkrat, but they've got an Ana and a Bap and a Torb. Is Tracer going to get a ton done against these guys?
You'll be surprised. It's gold.
Sure,
You'll
Tracer
be surprised.
Tracer could get a ton done against these guys, but we can't just go it's gold, and the reason we can't just go it's gold is because, you know, the Tracer's also probably gold, and your front line is weak. Like, there's an opportunity cost to you being back here to deal with this Tracer, and that is, who's supporting your Reinhardt right now?
Nobody.
Right, like, maybe your Ana or your BAP, but it kind of makes more sense for you, like with how your kit works, to support your Rhine and them to protect themselves as best they can. Like, there's a Torb back here who's going to deal with the Tracer whether he likes it or not by just making it difficult for her with turret placement and all that. So we want to be a little more aware of that. Because, okay, here you spent your bubble. This is a ton of hate that she's taking, a ton of attention that she's taking. And ultimately the Torb's going to use the ult to try and hold them back. Won't matter with that. Okay.
This fight is not over.
Okay, we're still on the Zarya. We have a grab.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
Barriers on.
Got a little more than 20, so that'll work for a bubble. And now you need back fist. That's the reload shenanigans.
I'm not aware of that. Like, I reload a lot.
You're not aware of that?
No, I don't really think about it.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
why I'm making you aware of it. I'm making you aware that
yeah.
you're hitting extra reloads here. This one's fine. You're out of ammo. Okay. You bubbled him here. That's reasonable. Get a hog swung out. Okay. I mean, you definitely had the option to block that with your personal bubble. But
Yeah. I was looking for that Tracer.
yeah, right, but you can still hear it. So they have a window and a whole hog going, right?
Yeah.
And you're nanoed, but are you going to be able to follow up on your grab if you're getting whole hogged through a window?
Not really, no.
So is anyone really going to follow up on your grab? I mean, Sleepy Bear's there, but he's going to get knocked away after you do, right?
Right. Well, we have a tire. I thought we could combo with the tire Junkrat.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but if the tire doesn't really have cover, doesn't have good distractions for it, is it likely to get to them?
No.
Yeah. So we don't really want to do this. This is one of those things where we go,
It was panic ult. Yeah.
right. We might take
It was-
the L, or we might just sort of let you knock us away with whole hog and then try to get to cover and take the fight after your ults are over. Like, you can have some space for these ults, no big deal. Then we'll come back in and win with grab or win with tire. Like, you have nano, but so what? You got 2 ults out of them in return. As long as we don't lose people, no big deal. If we do lose people, that's life.
Огонь по готовности. Максимум прав.
Okay. That reload at 29 ammo with opponents in front of you. And you see, you do this, you're looking away to like give yourself an excuse to reload, or when you're reloading, you're choosing to look away. You just did it there. That's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
you want to be conscious of. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
You're covered. Don't be shy. Hit me.
Right?
Is gone.
Okay, this is going to be the limit of your aggression because you've now used your bubble. Good.
Maximum charge.
Sure. This is tough.
Yeah, that Ryan was 1 HP. I thought
Yeah.
I wanted to finish with it. Yeah,
I know.
Get in there.
Okay. So this happens. You have your bubble available. You have an ult going. This sort of means push, right? Like you have an ult
Yeah.
going should generally mean push. You have a bubble available. I get that your Reinhardt is being passive, but I'm not sure I care because you have your bubble available. Like it would be great if he'd
Right.
push, but the Torbold is a green flag for you. That's a weird bubble that you use on your Reinhardt. Like he might take some poke damage, but can he swing off of that bubble? Can he hit anyone while he's bubbled?
No.
Right. And I know he's annoyed you at this point and you haven't had great bubble opportunities, but that's still a pretty weak bubble.
Get in there.
And you can be
Yeah,
getting more
yeah.
aggressive than him because you have your bubble available and you know it. Fine. That reload is weird. I believe in you. You could have reactive bubbled the hook, and you believed you could too, or you wouldn't have went there in the first place. Oh, these reloads. Right, so like you now have your... Well, okay, here we go. Yeah, again, not amazing. Okay. It's a little tough, I know, when you're reloading again. So it's a little tough, I know, but Azara, you're not actually that interested in your backline. Like, yes, you can, in theory, bubble an Ana, a BAP. You can bubble someone who's being dove. You can bubble someone who gets hooked, certainly. But mostly Azara, you really are interested in what's happening in front of you. So you want to get relevant things in front of you on
Right.
your screen, and you want to do work. You don't want to constantly be turning like this. You don't want to constantly be going, oh, there's a Pharah up over there. Can you do anything about a Pharah up over there? No. So you might change your angle so that the Pharah can't bother you. You might change the angle your whole team might so that the Pharah can't bother you. But we're not looking up over there. We're not looking over there. We're not looking over here for a tracer. We're kind of going, hey, I'm going to work like this. Or maybe I'm going to work like this, or maybe I'm going to work down like this, or maybe I'm going to push up a little, but we're not nearly as interested in what's going on behind us
Mm-hmm.
as you seem to be. Like, should we have some awareness that something's happening back there? Absolutely. If there's a situation where the tracer comes in and the opponents are just not in at all, they're super far back, absolutely, let's deal with the tracer. But we're really like, we're not terribly effective at dealing with these heroes. Yes, if Pharah comes in nice and slow and we're up here, oh sure, I'll burn you, Pharah, no problem. I'm very effective at that. And if you're holding this angle and Tracer tries to force her way through this angle, so be it. But mostly, you're trying to contribute to the front because that's where your kit does the most. That's where you can have the
Yeah.
best timings with your bubbles, can enable Reinhardt the best. Like, you're just the most valuable up there. You've probably noticed this. If you bubble someone who's getting dove, like an Ana, do you get 40 energy from it as regularly as you get 40 energy from bubbling a Reinhardt that's swinging?
Right.
Yeah, right. You get it more from the Rhine more consistently. Exactly. And you also can much more predictably, like it happens a lot more often, right? Your Reinhardt goes into swing much more consistently, maybe not this one, but in general, than your Ana or Zen or BAP gets dove, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your total energy is going to be massively higher if you're thinking about the front line. And we sort of
Right.
need it
Yeah.
to be because the hero doesn't work at low energy. And with how fast energy falls off, you constantly have to be maintaining that energy.
Yeah. It's just when I play off tank, which I don't play a lot of off
Mhm.
tank. I only play Zarya. I think about peeling for the back line. Like
Yeah.
if I play Diva, I'll just look up backline matrix and stuff. So I don't play off tank a whole lot. So I'm
Sure.
not really yeah.
And that's fine.
Uh,
And that's fine.
uh-huh.
But even Diva isn't going to over focus on the back line. She's going to DM her Ryan when he swings sometimes. Is she going to DM for her back line, eat pulse bombs, things like that? Absolutely. But she's not just going to sit in her back line either.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Get in there. Огонь по готовности.
Fine. Bubbles up. Do you have a target? No, you're chasing Tracer down. Okay.
I am the champion.
I really want to switch to ball, but
Yeah,
the,
but you
the,
just
the-
use your
yeah,
grab.
the
and you
grab. Yeah.
Seconds remaining.
Okay. You guys gonna play tag?
Your best shot.
So, you gotta be careful with these. I get it.
Uh-huh.
You expect her
Yeah.
to shoot at you,
Give me your best
but you've
shot.
got to already see the rocket in the air when you pop this bubble. And maybe you thought you were gonna get that rocket. But heck. And truth be told, do you really expect her to hit you with 2 rockets on one bubble if you're sort of that close to her and she doesn't have to think about anything else?
No.
And how much
Mm.
energy are you going to get from one rocket?
I don't know, like 20?
I think it's about 14, honestly.
Okay.
And 14 energy, by the time you get your projected bubble back, how much energy are you going to have?
I don't know, a little.
Zero.
Very little.
0. 0 is how much you're going to have. It'll decay faster than you get your bubble back. Now, that's not like completely 0 because like you could still get 40 off your projected bubble, and then it's helped you a tiny bit because you weren't just losing all your projected bubble energy over the time, but you're basically netting 0 or negative energy if you only get one rocket, and I just don't know how you're going to get more than one rocket there. Which means she's generally not great unless there's other damage incoming too. There is this annoying thing in the back line. How's that front line doing?
Losing.
Yeah, oh, but we gotta... Are we doing anything to Tracer here?
Not really.
Are we keeping Pharah honest here?
No.
So we're not really helping with this. So again, it would sure be nice to go like up here and help. If the Tracer is on us, sure, we might turn and deal with it. But like, and yes, we would like to clear the angles first, but we just can't keep up with these heroes to clear them, right?
Yeah. I just feel like if our supports die, like front line's gonna lose.
Sure. If your Rhine
Yeah.
gets eliminated by their front line, isn't their front line going to run over your back line?
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's I get it, but it's where can you do the most good thing?
Right.
Oh, the real one. That's fine. Turn for the ult. No problem. Now are we going to be at ball? No.
Perseverance is the key.
Yeah, I don't think I played ball in this round.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe on the attack.
Go.
Ouchies. Okay. What's the status of your team?
We just got
Just got
Two
wiped, and most of you are in
Yeah.
spawn. Right. So you can do this to try and help Junkrat get out if you want, but then you've got to reaction block this hook.
Ready for battle.
Okay, you can't reaction block this hook anymore, so you have to recognize that hook is a threat, and you have to already be sort of getting out, right? Like, you already need to be getting out, and you sort of try. Okay. Really, you were kind of just up too aggressively in the first place, given the status, and you guys just got staggered. And you could have given Junkrat a projected bubble from much further away than you did.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Touch from afar. Get in there.
60 seconds remaining.
I'm restored. On my
Sure. Your window, we're gonna push it. Good. Beautiful. Well, less beautiful. Why did you let yourself get sucked in here? So there's a hog here. Who can't
The,
did you? Go ahead.
the enemy window, right? Wait, did they have a window?
No, that's your
No,
window.
they didn't.
That's your
Oh.
window. Yeah.
Oh,
So
never
like
mind.
I get it, it's
Yeah.
like, hey, the enemies are maybe shooting down this lane, but like the enemies are
Mhm.
hiding from this lane primarily because there's a window and
Mhm.
you have your guys back here, and this hog, we don't want to get docked into here. And they help you a little, they boop you a little in here, but this isn't all of the boops.
30
Trying to get
seconds
energy, maybe.
remaining.
Yeah,
To
but I don't
block
want
you,
to. I don't want to do that. Like I'll take some damage out here. Like I want to get this hog eliminated from a direction that he can't shoot at me, right? Because this hog was like
Right.
locking your team in here, and you were getting to shoot him in the back, which is really powerful. And we liked that a lot. We like our angles. Sure. Almost. So I like this. I like that you're trying to burn the hog. Where should you go right now as you're burning this hog?
To run away. Go backwards.
Get over to here.
Yeah.
Use this time that you're bubbled to get over to here. He might still be able to shoot you, but the rest of his team won't be able to shoot you, right?
Alright.
So we want to be thinking about how can I get cover against other people? And that's great. But we're instead right here where they can still see us, aren't we?
Mhm.
And we'd be just as effective from here, but we'd have a lot more protection from the terrain, which would have been cool.
Right. Yeah.
Just like in training.
Yeah. The rest is pretty much trash time.
Yep,
Огонь
that's
по
fine.
готовности.
Probably would have stayed on the hog, even while staying on the point, but that's okay. Just because you're high energy, you can't out DPS the healing you get. It's going to be really easy for you to track. If you're really confident in yourself, you can sure take down the intercepting and stuff. See, you played a hero that wasn't Zarya for 15 seconds less. Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
Held it to overtime, but ultimately they take the cap. And now we're going to play hamster. Hamster in a ball. So I don't think you can go back to Zarya, but if you are, that's fine.
Attackers incoming in
The
30
I
big-
think I went back to Zarya for like a very little bit. I think.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay, so like the biggest things that I'm seeing on your Zarya that you're going to want to pay attention to and perhaps try to work through one at a time would be, hey, we got these reloads that you weren't even conscious about, and I totally didn't expect that you were conscious of them, but that's lost damage, right? Like that's a fair amount of lost damage, and it's also a
Yeah.
habit that the more you do it wrong, the harder it is going to be to break. So even though it's not your most impactful fix right now, I'd like it to be the first thing you try to fix on your Zarya. And that could
Yeah.
involve rebinding the key while you're actively thinking about fixing your reloads, about reloading less, but don't just rebind the key and have that be the solution, because you'll acclimate, adapt to the new key, and then you'll be in the same spot that you were before.
Mhm. Yeah,
if you haven't
I'll
made
work
the
on that. Yeah.
adjustment. The second thing that I'm going to want you to pay more attention to is, hey, you want to work on the front line. I totally don't mind if you shoot at a Zarya that's off angling, a Reaper that's off angling, a D.Va that's off angling, a Pharah that's off angling, if you can see them sort of from your front line, but I don't want you turning around a lot where you can't really pay attention to your Reinhardt and to the frontline battle well. Like, that's causing you an even bigger loss of uptime, an even bigger
Yeah.
loss of damage than your reloads are. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then this
Yeah.
third thing is I'd like you to think a little bit more about positioning, and I'd specifically like you to think about positioning where, hey, where can I be that I have cover against some of the opponents? Like if I'm shooting the hog, I want to be in a place where, okay, the hog can't shoot me because he's shooting my team. Great. I don't want to go in there where I'm going to do it. Or if I'm shooting the hog and, like you were at the very end of third, I want to get behind cover and shoot out at the hog where the rest of his team can't shoot me. The only person who should be able to shoot me in an ideal world is the person I'm shooting at. Ideally, I'd have cover against everyone else. You can't always get the ideal, but that's sort of something that you're striving for, leaning towards a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now let's move on to your Hammond.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Activating the barrier.
I excited the enemy.
Sure.
Power of destruction.
Through. That's good. We have to decide if we think our team is ready. We're doing a little bit of pressure. Okay.
Activating shield.
Actually, that was a really risky roll through. With the hog, like, yeah, he probably had hooked. I didn't know if he had or not.
I don't care. I don't really care that much if he has hook. And the reason for that is, while you could get eliminated just by, hey, the hog hooks you, that takes you out of ball form, you get mercy boosted storm arrow into you, plus, the hog shot, plus maybe some other damage. Yeah, you could go down.
I don't think he would have killed me because I could still
That's-
grab the
exactly,
Mega and their team
exactly.
was away.
The
Yeah.
idea is that you can still get away. So the question is this engagement at the right time for your team to be able to push? And it looks like it. Like, this looks like a pretty hard engage, which I can live with. And it looks like it's when your team is ready to push. At least
Activating
your
shield.
Sigma does choose to push off of this. Rest of your team looks like they're mostly interested in doing so too. They might be a touch slow to do so. Maybe you were a touch early, but only a touch. This is looking reasonable so far.
But we made space. Right.
Yeah.
We made through the choke.
You're looking for the BAP finish, and now it's time to get out. Go get your health pack. Okay. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. I tried to deny the res, but there's only I can do
There's
that.
only so much you can do. I'm not worried about this. At this point, I'm sort of looking at this and going, we got an elimination. We're missing enough health for that health pack to be reasonable, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's get that health back. There's no need to go back. I'm not hearing a res yet, so I'm not feeling some need to get back into this fight. And I don't have my adaptive shield either. I could go for a pile drive, but I'm going into the fight missing health. This isn't like an unreasonable amount of fight health to go into the fight with. There's just not a great reason to rush it right now.
Yeah,
you're
definitely. In high elo, I would definitely get punished for that.
Probably.
I think. Yeah.
Why? So, like, you're doing this. I don't like that you finished your roll through over here. I know now you're hacked, but why don't I like that you finished your roll through over here?
I don't know. I thought it was quite a good position to be.
Okay. So what's more distracting to the enemy team? If there's opponents shooting at them over there and there's someone over here, or there's opponents shooting at someone over here and there's someone over here, or if there's just opponents shooting from them over here?
Definitely
Either of the first
like
two, right?
off angles, yeah.
Right. So
Right.
even though you don't do a ton of damage, you simply existing back here and applying even, moderate pressure, damage pressure with your weapons is a lot more annoying to them because it's like, well, How do I? Our Rhine shield only works in one way. Okay, am I BAP? Am I gonna shoot at you to drive you away? Oh shoot, how's my Reinhardt doing? Like, I have to hit bigger flicks, things like that. So what you generally want to do is you can hit your roll throughs, you can hit your pile drives, you can use your adaptive shields, but when you get out, quote unquote, if you get all the way out to go get health packs, so be it. But you want to sort of then have your more passive version of play. Like there's the hard engage where you hit your pile drives, you use your adaptive shield, that sort of thing. You do your roll throughs. That could be part of a softer engage. But then there's sort of a secondary level where it's like, I don't have cooldowns to play with, so I'm just going to poke at you a bit while my team is also fighting you. And those you want to make sure you're doing from a different direction than your team if it's at all possible, because you're not really that dangerous from this direction, right? Like the Rhine shield works on you. Okay, good. Also, I don't really want you to reload in ball form like this. There's no purpose to it.
I couldn't because I was hacked.
Yes, thank you. You are
Yeah.
correct. Actually, I'm not sure that's true anymore. Oh, you're right. You were
I'm
most
back,
of the way
yeah.
through the reload before the hack ended. You're right. Oh no, the hack lasted longer than I thought there. Okay, good. That is the reason to reload in ball form or in back form.
Oh, that was unfortunate.
Yep.
That little wall. Yeah.
Yep. Well, the hammer swing knocked you off course just a little bit. Made things too much.
Yeah.
Ultimate almost ready. Scanning target.
¿Qué tal?
My ultimate ability charged, almost ready.
Okay, so we're done. Nope, we're done.
My ultimate is almost
We're just gonna
charged.
chill.
hmm
Let's get you some.
Okay, now they've got an opening.
Denied.
Sure.
Shields.
Yeah, I was in
Do you want me
voice.
to roll away it? Good.
In voice, I was calling out Bob and mine on point.
Sure. So you hit your
Good.
adaptive shields, you got some health here, your minefield is in play. I don't know why you're leaving this hard. Like, I don't mind if you go over to this angle, but, like, I want to fight while I have this shield health, right? It's not much,
Yeah.
but that's like 100 shield health. I want to use it. I'm happy to fight while I have it. I don't want to just roll around.
I just saw that handle. I get traumatized by storm arrows.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, storm arrows are pretty traumatizing for tanks, I understand. Okay, so this is kind of the same situation, and it's a little complicated by the fact that they have a Sombra, but again, we're shooting from here. Our Bob's helping with his off angle, but we're shooting from the same direction as our team. Now, we couldn't really fight from back here because we'd have been too stuck, but we probably could have worked our way over here and done this as long as we didn't run into the Sombra, right? And in doing so, we might have found a nice translocator to break, right?
Yeah, I guess I was trying to running away from Bab and Hansel.
Sure.
Back to my team, yeah.
We just like to, but back to our team isn't always safety. Like, back to our team might be safety if their Sombra's annoying, but we would prefer, hey, this angle over here, or even, hey, I'm gonna go shoot you from up here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, this Reinhardt is so much easier to deal with when she's turned around and you're paying attention to your team, not you. Okay. Probably not. Yeah. No. You have to get Mega if you're gonna win this.
Ooh.
Wow.
You'll
Wow.
be surprised.
That should not have worked, but okay.
Mm.
Good. Why didn't you look good there? So here you are.
I was trying to boop him off.
Oh,
I guess.
because your tether was too low.
I was too late. Yeah.
Yeah, your tether was too low. You would have had to go up and finish him. That's fine.
The payload
Leave,
Oh.
leave.
Yeah.
Oh,
Too greedy.
you gotta recognize your turret, your weapon doesn't do a ton of damage. Your weapon does some damage, but getting more than like 50 to 100 damage out of your weapon is pretty tough because its spread gets pretty insane after just a couple shots. Not like terrible, but
Uh,
pretty wide.
uh,
Like the
I thought the
size.
spread is consistent, but okay.
Well, after like 2 shots. So like, and you get through 2 shots like immediately. So like,
I see. Yeah.
what's going to happen is your spread might be consistent, but your spread is the size of Hog's head. You follow what I'm saying? Like that's a pretty big thing that you're trying to aim, right?
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
And because of that, once healing's involved, I'm not saying you can't finish someone off, but he really had too many friends there, and you didn't have powerful moves left.
Right. Yeah. He was literally 1 melee away.
Right.
I got a little greedy. I had to peek again. Wow.
We just need to wait. We don't have adaptive shield. Our team isn't ready. Good. Okay. We need to get to it. Okay, we'll wait again. No, Sigma. We will not push through the window.
I told the team to wait out the window.
Yep.
But Sigma had the grasp, so he was okay.
Yeah. Good. Now you get to engage them from a different direction. And now I'm sure you're calling this for your team. Okay. Beautiful.
Heroes never die.
Why? Like, we do this. Is this where you want to fight their Hanzo from?
No.
Right. So even if you knock him a little further away from your Sigma, I mean, that's not going to bother your Sigma, is it?
I was actually looking for the Mercy. I couldn't see the Mercy. Yeah.
Got it. You're
Yeah, I
trying
was
to figure
looking
out how
for
to get this at Mercy. Okay, because I do expect the thing that you do here to be a tether. I don't want you to unroll and Gatling fire from this same direction as your Sigma. I want you to either roll through the Hanzo, hit him with your boop, 50 damage there, and then in his face, unball and shoot him. Or I want you to hook your tether on this over here and flip yourself up to get up here on the Mercy. You can turn it into a pile drive shoot. You won't get her, but she'll go away, and then you can potentially get her.
Yeah.
I do not like this at all. Like I'm taking a poke battle at medium short range with a pocketed Hanzo. I don't care that you have a Sigma friend. Like this just isn't good.
Trying to poke a little bit, but
Right.
yeah.
Right, but like there's no reason to poke a little bit versus doing this immediately.
Oh, you're doing low.
Mega, be our friends. There we go. Good, we're taking an angle. That's a little
Yeah.
dicey. That hog is
It's a little risky, yeah.
yeah.
I saw the hog. But the ult charging is just too good. Maybe not worth it.
Where are you gonna go? Because we don't want to fire from here, right? Like I'm
No.
totally fine with us using our Gatling while we don't have our slams and our tethers and our shields available, but it would sure be nice to play from here, or to roll on through and play from here, or from here, or to go back up here. Like there's so much better things to do than shoot from the direction of our team.
Right.
Okay. Well, hold on. Great, we took him down. What's our health status?
Very healthy.
Right, we've got a bunch of shield left. So, like, I don't like 3v1s either, but it's kind of use it or lose it with these shields, right? And they don't get ult charge off these shields, right?
Yeah.
So let's spend them a little more. Let's get some more of these shots out. We've got 30 ammo left. It's not amazing, but we get ult charge, they don't. Sure.
Yeah. That's my problem. I like when I get a big shield, I kind of just roll away.
You do.
I don't-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's my problem.
Oh, nice of them to Valk for you. Oh no, that was your Valk. No, that was their Valkyrie.
Enemy mount. Yeah. They wasted ult here. So, I mean, yeah, it's gold.
Okay, like you can use this adaptive shield if you want, but not if you're backing off. If you're backing off, you're backing off. If you're staying in, you can use this adaptive shield. I'd have personally said, yeah, backing off is fine. You don't need it. You already drove him back a little bit, and it's going to be really hard to confirm an elimination with the adaptive shield. But again, you're kind of giving me the worst of both worlds. Like, your adaptive shield got stripped there very quickly, but like, it probably just made more sense to just leave in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ultimate ready.
My ultimate is ready.
Let me show you how it's done.
Is that melody?
Too late.
Yeah, it was.
Well-
I didn't know. Yeah, we worked out. Yeah, I guess I was like a little confused of what to do. Shoot or yeah.
Sure. Well, you just, I mean, we're too slow to make a decision. Like, this is the sort of thing where, okay, if
But
we're
it's
gonna
fine.
shoot,
Yeah.
if we're gonna shoot, are we gonna do it from this direction?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, maybe only because they're fluxed, and maybe because your
Mhm.
Reaper is over here, and you want to get
Mhm.
damage on them while they're fluxed. So sure, I can accept that.
Mhm.
Rolling
But you
out.
just sort of walk and then change your mind and then roll. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I changed my mind midway. Yeah.
Yep.
Because I didn't want to use too many ults. Right?
Sure.
But turns out it was alright. We got the pick.
Finish here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you guys have a minute and a half to take first, or take a ticket first.
Yeah, I went Winston.
Oh, nice.
For battle.
I'll enjoy the quiet while it lasts.
Why Winston over ball for your attack on first, if you only need first?
I don't know.
Attackers
Okay.
Oh,
incoming
fast
in
ult charge.
30 seconds.
I want to get primal.
Okay.
No,
like
they
fast
asked
and then
me to be in a movie once.
get a kill and then we win the fight. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Look after yourselves out there.
Ready for 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's mechanical. That probably wasn't worth either. Because, like, is it unheard of for a hog to be standing right there? Or a Reaper? Or, you know, a Junkrat? Or a Sombra? Like,
I never thought about that. No.
yeah. And
Yeah.
you could have just walked up here, and you'd have still made it at the right timing. Okay, you tried. Time to leave. We're just not interested in poking until we have our ammo back. Okay? You're not interested in diving until you have your barrier back. Oh boy. Well, okay. Sure.
I need healing.
You're just kind of dancing in the open here, and we don't like that. So I can live with that.
Activate.
I'm good. The reload
yeah.
timing is unfortunate, but now you have to decide where you're going immediately. Are you going to your right? Are you going to your left? I'm good with either. Can't be looking this way and walking back forward. There's no way we can push forward
Right.
into them, right? Like,
No.
you're not close enough to leap to here, and this is the only way you could go forward without your bubble, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I need healing.
60 seconds.
Okay, how are you going to help this engage? You're going to take Cafe, right?
Something.
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. That's not what we're going to do. So, like, here we are, and we just sort of need to let our Sigma push a little bit to get us to, like, here, and then we can push here, and when we push here, then it's just like when we were ball, where they're going, I don't like it, I'm uncomfortable, and you just go, yeah, and I'm going to cleave you guys from above, and that's going to force them forward a little bit, and if it forces them forward a little bit, well, your Reaper's quite happy about that because your team was pushing from this direction, right?
I wanted to create space for my Sigma, so I went in first. So
Right, but the
Yeah,
way
I
that
guess,
you
yeah.
create space on Winston isn't going, let me jump in the middle of the team and put my bubble down and hope I survive. Because if they break your bubble, where are you going to go?
Well, in this situation, I guess I can play a little aggressive because they had
Because
one
you're up
down.
one? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But you're sort of giving them a chance to flip it back on you, right? You're giving
Yeah,
them a
yeah,
chance to
that's
get
true.
back into
That's true.
it, whereas
Yeah.
it's so much safer to go here. It's not you're not going to get quite as much damage done, but you're going to take way less damage. You're going to be way safer, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
going to still put a lot of pressure on them of like, where do we go? Do we go over here
Yeah.
so that Winston can't shoot at us? Like, what do we do?
Yeah. Yeah. I see.
This will protect you.
Sure.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, we win the fight like this.
Yep. Okay. So for Winston, you obviously didn't give us any timing wise to work with, but it's going to be a very similar concept to one thing we talked about on Ball, except Winston
Mm-hmm.
sort of has an easier time. He's more precise in his jumps. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
harder to get from here to here on Ball than it is on Winston. It's just how I'll put that. But Winston can sort of more precisely, with less mechanical mastery, take high ground control. So that tends to be what we do with Winston, because the high ground is our safety, and he doesn't have range, so we'd like to be able to zap people from high ground, back off if he takes damage, etc. But really what happens when we focus on your Ball here is there's really two main points I want to get into. One of
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be, if you've used your abilities and you now don't have power, you don't have ability power, roll throughs, pile drives, things like that to contribute to the fight, adaptive shield, you want to finish at a different angle than your team like 9 out of 10 times, so that you make them figure out, well, which way do we put our barrier? Which way do we put our
Yeah.
diva matrix? Do we take
Yeah.
cover against you guys in that direction? Oh, the ball's shooting us from over there. Do we take cover against the ball? Oh, now you guys are shooting us from over there. Like, that's what you want to go in. It doesn't have to be this spot. It could be in here. It could be back here. It could be in here. It could be over here while your team's over here. But you want to create, as much of an angle as is practical, preferably near the health packs that you're staging around. So that's what you want to do when you don't have your abilities up. When you have your abilities, go ahead and use your abilities, but try to finish use of your abilities again in another spot that is sort of different from your team. You don't really go back to your team to go, oh, team support me, oh, team heal me. You're primarily just accepting that you're going to operate off of health packs, which is one of the reasons that Sombra makes your life difficult. You can get healed up like after one fight by your team, but you primarily are just accepting that you're freelancing away from your team with Ball. So we want to, when we don't have our abilities, be on those angles. That's like the first thing that I want us to work on Ball. The second thing I'm going to want you to work on is I need you to recognize that when you have that adaptive shield, you sort of have to spend it. Even if you spend it pretty inefficiently, even if you're just like, well, I've already used slam and roll through, but I have 300 adaptive shield, I guess I'm going to stand here and shoot at things. I don't want to roll out here where it's kind of a passive contribution. This passive contribution is fine when I don't have it, but if I have a bunch of adaptive shield, I kind of want to be in here threatening them hard, tanking some attention, perhaps being closer to do more damage. You with me?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like with this meta, like McCree, a lot of stunts. I kind of can't really risk for it. You know what I mean?
Sure, I
Like,
do, but if those stuns are happening, like, I don't find that matters, because what'll happen is those stuns will happen and they'll instantly chew through your shield, so then it's time to leave.
Okay. Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense. Yeah.
like, it's the sort of thing where it's like, yes, if you were like, I have 200 adaptive shield left and there's 4 stuns and they haven't used any of them on me, you're right. You would be correct to leave early. But is that ever really going to happen, or are they going to stun you hard basically as soon as you're in, and the stuns are going to strip your shields and such immediately? Okay.
I have a question.
Shoot!
So, how will I play Winston or Ball in like defense?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Let's say I play Winston.
So let's say you're playing
or Ball
Winston
here.
and your
Yeah.
off tank is a Zarya, just as an example. Your Zarya's going to end up standing here, your backline's going to spread around sort of the point so that they threaten the choke, and you could literally just sit here for the first push, say, wait for the enemies to walk in, and then decide as the enemies walk in and start to push your team, I am now going to press W and zap your Ana, your Lucio, your Zen, your Ashe as they walk by. And if you guys turn and see me and it's scary and I don't like it, oh shoot, let me leap out up here, and now I have high ground and I can hide behind this pillar, or I can rejoin my team, etc. But you just sort of let them walk into a place
Right.
that you're happy to engage on them. And then you're like, hey, I can't be here because they're immediately going to turn the corner with a hog and get me because they know I'm here. Cool. I'll play from here instead. And
Yeah.
then let me peek and okay, and now I'm just gonna drop and walk into your backline again. And like, what? Why is there a Winston here again? Like Winston can totally do that. Or you can set up here and be like, okay, I'm setting up here behind the pillar, crouched as best I can. They're walking in. Now they've walked to here, and now I'm gonna walk up to here and zap them from above. Or maybe I'll walk a little bit behind, drop, zap their supports, drop on their supports, challenge them. And I don't need to take them out. I just need to like pressure them, turn them around, make them unhappy. I can use my bubble if I think I want to sustain, or I can hop out to leave. Because you'll notice I'm not using my leap to engage in any of these.
Yeah.
Hammond can do some similar stuff. Hammond's
Uh-huh.
rollouts are a little different, but you could still do a thing where it's like, okay, maybe I'm going to start to let them walk through, and as soon as their Reinhardt comes through, I'm going to tether over there, and I'm going to bowling ball through to create more separation, to send their Reinhardt in early while his team is still back here. Because if you go in super early as ball, you usually get punished, right?
Right. Yeah.
So if you send their Reinhardt in super early, the same thing's going to happen to him, right?
What if I set up behind them? Like
Yeah, you
I
can.
go.
You can set up
like
over
that.
here. You're not going to be able to get back here. You're not going to live over here. But for like the first push, yeah, you could come over here and do a boom and hard engage here with like a swing through pile drive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What
that kind of
what
thing.
about for maps that's like more open, like Anubis, first point?
You can get away with a roll through on their side of choke once on Anubis. Probably not a second time in overtime, but once.
What about as Winston? Where should I set up?
Oh,
Like
the
for a map
shelf.
like
The
that?
shelf on. So if you look from Anubis defender's perspective, there's sort of the high ground that defenders usually have. That's middle high ground. It's in front of the point. It has the bridge. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah. That
In
one.
front and to the left of that, from defender's perspective, there's a little place.
Oh,
There's
that.
yeah.
I see.
Winston generally just jumps up there and waits, and then when the opponents start to rotate, if opponents try to rotate through main, he can drop on them whenever he wants. If the opponents try to
So
go to the far way, left from their perspective, right from your perspective, he can actually jump from there to on top of the wall if he wants to. That is between, how do I want to put this, that is between the two paths. There's a wall that you can sort of, sometimes you'll see Hanzos or Genjis climb over it. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think I do.
He
So
can
what
jump
about
with that. Go ahead.
what about my team? Where should my team be set up?
Well, your team is going to set up, I mean, your team here was able to set up in very standard places, right?
Yeah.
And your team can do much the same thing on, say, Anubis. Now, they want to know what their cover is because they don't have a Rhine shield in front of them, so they've got to play around the cover. But there's cover in that standard high ground spot. There's pillars that they can sit behind. They can sit a little to the right where there's a wall that they can use as cover. They can play further to the left if they want, across the bridge where there's a doorway that can be cover for them. They have to use cover, but they should still be able to threaten those same good spots where you're likely to engage on the team. They want to be able to threaten the spot that you want to engage on them in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
No. That's
Then
all I got.
I
Yeah.
think we are good to go. Let's send that one